Hi guys, I'm Darren, and in this video we'll be setting up an elevon mix on ETHOS. This is a video that's been requested by quite a few people, and it's a strange one because it's actually, once you see it, is a very simple process. The only issue is that unlike a lot of things in ETHOS, how you do it isn't that obvious. So what I'm going to do is just take you through the steps. I have my little plane set up, which is going into the SR10 Pro. I'm just using the left and right ailerons as channels 1 and 2, so A and E if you're using AETR. And I'm going to set up a complete model from scratch on the transmitter. So I'm going to use the scroll wheel where I can so I don't obscure the touch screen, but obviously some things I do need to touch the screen for. And that one I'm just going to do because it's easier. Right, so we just need to have a regular aeroplane. We can obviously set our engines or motors to whatever we have on the plane. If it's obviously a glider, you can choose no engine, that's fine. What we need to do here is set our ailerons to 2 channels. Flaps, obviously we're not going to have flaps if it's a tailless plane, so we'll leave that to off and then go to the next one. Now this is where we need to change something, but it's not obvious. So the thing with elevons is usually there's no tail to speak of, so what we need to actually do is change this to none. Once we do that, it knows that it's an elevon setup. So even though we've not actually selected an elevator, we still need one to fly in most cases, so it just adds it for us. So let's give this a quick name. And we'll get a picture of a flying wing, and let's create the model. So if we pop into the mixer, you can see that ailerons and elevators have been added, and they're on channels 1 and 5. Now, the 1 and 5 is a little bit confusing, but we can change that easy enough. With an elevon setup, you would usually use the aileron and elevon channels. So that would be channels 1 for aileron, channel 2 for elevon, or elevator. So let's change our second aileron to channel 2, where it should be. Now let's do the same on the elevator. So now we're on channel 1 and 2 for both. So you can see if I do the pitch, we're going up and down by 50%. And if I do the roll, we're going left and right by the 50%. Of course, if we combine both, we'll get the full output. So let's check that on the outputs page. So we have our aileron 1, aileron 2. If I roll to the right, you can see we're at 50%. Then if I sort of nose down, you can see we're at 100%. So we can see that in theory, our elevon mix is working. Next, what I'm going to do is get this thing bound up. So I'm going to be using the internal on 2.4. So let's just bind it, it should work. Bind. Okay, so we've bound all right. So our receiver is set up. So now what we want to do is just make sure that everything's working correctly. So if we do the pitch, you can see it's actually moving the roll. So if I hold the model up, it's a bit more obvious. And then if I do the roll, it's moving the pitch. So we need to actually change something. Now the easiest way is to reverse one of these channels. So let's go in and invert that first. So now we can see the pitch is on the pitch, the roll is on the roll. So if we pull back, we're pitching up. If we push forward, we're pitching down, so that's correct. If we roll to the right, it's rolling to the right, and left is left. So we've actually lucked out on this one. We've chosen the right one to reverse. If that didn't work and it was backwards, just put that one back to normal and reverse the other channel. So I'll show you that not working. So we just reverse the elevon number 2. So you can see that the pitch and the roll is on the right axis, but they're backwards. So yeah, if you find that, just try reversing the other one. If you get to the point where you have, for example, pitch is working correctly, but roll is backwards, you would then go into the mix and need to change the one that's wrong. So if it's the aileron, what you can actually do is make the weight negative, and that would actually just flip that one channel. So if you find by reversing the outputs, the pitch is correct, but the roll is wrong, just change the weight in the roll. Likewise, if you find that the roll is correct, but the pitch is wrong, you can reverse the weight in the pitch. And that should get everything working. So there you go, guys. That's how to add elevons in ETHOS. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. That will help get this video out to more people so they can learn how to do this too. But also there's a chance that you might see other videos on my channel that will interest you, especially if you're dealing with ETHOS and fixed wing RC. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Fly models like you stole them.